Hi everyone, welcome to Java Techie. When it comes to authentication, we all want a fast and easy login process without compromising any security concerns. Because after all, keeping user accounts safe from hacker is non-negotiable, right? So can we make the login process easier for the user who don't remember their password and even they don't want to deal with reset password concept? Yes, that's where Spring Security comes with one-time token feature. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to implement passwordless login using one-time token in Spring Boot. This one-time token mechanism is very simple for the user and strong on security. And the best part, Spring Security 6.4 now support it out of the box, isn't it? So without any further delay, let's get started. So before we deep dive into this OTT feature, first let's understand why this one-time token feature is so powerful nowadays. Okay, so to understand the importance of OTT, we need to go with the traditional approach. If you can remember, in traditional approach, we do provide a login form to the user where user can give their username and password. Now he will click on the login. If the username and password is correct, the authentication will be successful and user can redirect to the page. But what if user forget the password? Then he can click on the forgot password link. Now here user will get the option to provide either email ID or phone number. For example, let's say I will give some phone number. Now once user provide the phone number, if that is valid number, then he can click on send reset link. Now the OTP or the link will be come to his mobile number. Okay, then based on that he will click on that link and he will reset the password. This is the traditional approach we do follow from the long time. However, in some cases users don't visit the site frequently or don't remember their password, which leading to the frequent reset. This can be frustrating and even user will keep complaining to the customer support. That's expected, right? Even we do the same. So, to overcome this kind of conflict and to deliver a smooth login experience to the user, Spring Security has come up with a solution called OTT, which is nothing but a one time token concept. So, let me show you how this OTT mechanism works so that you will get some concrete picture before implementing the things. So, if you observe this particular page, I have login option and also I have one time token option. Now, if I know the username and password, I can simply sign in. If I forgot the password, then what I can do, I can pass the username here. Okay, the username could be your mobile number or email ID. Just pass the correct username and click on send token. Now the token will be sent to either email or mobile, whatever you configured. For this demo purpose, I have this token printing on my console. Can you see here? This is the token. Now if user will click on this particular link, then it will redirect to the page with auto populated token in the form. Then user can click on sign in and here we go. So we got the response. Here we do nothing, right? We just ask Spring Security, take my username, give me a token, then with the same token, we are able to redirect to our page. Behind the scene, Spring Boot or Spring Security will authenticate or authorize that particular token with your given username. Okay, that is what the beauty of this one time token feature given by Spring Security. Fine. Now let's try to implement the same thing in action. Let's go to our IntelliJ IDEA. So to save our time, already I created one simple template. I have not write any logic yet. Let me walk you through the code. If you will go to the pom.xml, we are using the latest Spring Boot version 3.4.2 and I have added the mail dependency so that we can send the one-time token over the email. and I added the Spring Boot Starter security, added time leaf to just display the username, and we have added the web dependency, and this is the additional dependency added by Spring Security. If you are using Spring Security version 6, then this particular time leaf with Spring Security 6 dependency will be auto added. This particular dependency provide extra dialects like security attributes. You can play with the conditional, like based on the role, what things you want to display. Such kind of conditional evaluation on the time leaf, you can do that if you will add this particular dependency. Okay, so that is the only dependency I have added. Now if we'll go and check the controller class, I have just defined a simple endpoint to just display the username. Who is the logged in username? That name I just want to display in the index.html page. Now if you will check the index.html page, this is the value I am binding from controller to this front end, which is nothing my time leaf. Okay, and also I have created a security config, and if you observe here, I have just hard coded the username as a Java techie and password as a plain text. So that is the reason I have defined NOP. It means there is no encryption on this particular field. This will be considered as a plain text. Okay, this is what the hard coded user details I have added. So already we did lot of video on Spring Security where we connect with the database and we connect with the token to fetch the username and password. You can refer that. Since this is just a demo, I have just defined the hard coded username and password. Okay, so this is the simple basic authentication I have defined in this code. Based on this username and password, you can able to access this particular endpoint and you will find the result in this index.html page. That is the simple Spring Security flow. So let's run it, then we'll see where we can add the one-time token feature implementation. Okay, so let me start the app. So it started on port 9191. Now let's go to the browser. I'll just hit 9191. Now this is the simple login page, right? I'll give the username as Java techie, password as a password. If I'll click on sign in, I'm able to see the result. That's great. If you observe, this is the basic Spring Security flow. But what do we want to add here? We want to add one-time token feature. So for that, what I can do, I will go to the security config, then I will just add a security filter chain and I will inform to Spring Security, hey, can you please add one-time token login page for me in the same login page in this particular page. So for that, what you can do, go to your config first, then I'll define a bin security filter chain. Just define this as a @bin. Now here, what you can do, you can define HTTP, authorize all the HTTP requests, just define the lambda, authorize any request, just authenticate them. Okay, so better let me format it. Now once you authenticate all the requests, for that just give me the form login page. So which type of form login page you want? You want the default one. So I will define customizer with default. Now along with this form login, we also want a token login page, right? One time token login page. So I can simply ask to Spring Security, hey, give me one time token login with the default template. Once you get everything, just build it. What is the error? Unhandled exception. So just do one thing, throw exception. You can simply return this. So this is what the configuration we have defined. We ask Spring Security to display the form login as well as the one-time token login page. Now let's run the application and we'll see whether we are able to see this template or not. Just run it once. Now if you observe here, we got some error saying that Java Lang illegal state exception. A one-time token generation success handler is required to enable one-time token login. So in our code, we ask Spring Security to add this login page for us, one-time token login page for us. But we are not writing any logic to generate the token. So to generate a token, you need to use this handler class. So we'll create one handler class, and inside that handler class, we'll write a logic to generate one-time token or magic link, anything you can say. Fine. So this exception itself suggests to play with one-time token login, you need to go with one-time token generation success handler. So we'll follow the same step. This is how you can get the clear picture about how this one-time token or OTT feature work behind the scene. Now let's create a new class. I'll create a package called handler. Then let's create a new class. Implement this particular class from one-time token generation success handler. Next, you need to implement the handle method. Okay, and annotate this @service. Now this is the method where you will write the logic, generate and send magic link, or you can say one-time token. Fine, but this is the handler class, right? When request come to this particular method, you want to redirect this generated link to somewhere, right? This one-time token, whatever you generate, you want it to redirect to some success handler. So for that, what you can do, you can define a class private final one-time token generation success handler, just name it redirect handler, something like that, equal to new redirect one-time token generation success handler. Okay, so it means what you are saying, in the one-time generation success handler, you just redirect that request to this particular URL /ott/sent. So basically what I want here, when user give the username and click on send token, the request should redirect to this particular handler. That is what I am trying to define here. Now this is just an endpoint. So to make it simple, what I can do, I'll create another endpoint in my controller class. Let's say public string sent OTT, something like that. I'll just return some HTML page and I will define the endpoint as OTT sent. Just define the return type. When I say return type is nothing, it's your view name. OTT sent. I'll create one HTML page. This is just the static page I am creating. If you'll ignore this part also, that's fine. It won't show anything. So here what I am saying, OTT sent, your one-time token has been sent. Please check your email or whatever medium you will configure. This is just to get better look and feel. I have defined one HTML page. Okay, so this is clear, right? I have defined this particular endpoint /ott/sent. When user give the username and click on generate token, I want that request to be redirected to this particular page, and that is what I have defined in this handler class. Okay, redirect the request to this particular URL. It's very simple, guys. You no need to remember the class name. Fine. Now I'll just define here redirect handler dot handle request response and one-time token. Now here we'll write the logic to generate the magic link. Okay, and one thing we missed, we need to do that. Now once user, okay, let me show you again if I can. Once user give the username and click on send token, then we are redirecting it to /ott/sent. For that, we don't want to apply any security. I don't want to force Spring Security to authorize that particular request. So for that, what you can do, how can you bypass the endpoint if you don't want to apply the security? That's pretty simple, right? You can do one thing, you can ask to this authentication request, hey, if you found any request match with the endpoint /ott/sent, then permit all. Don't ask them for any type of authentication. Okay, like this you can define. That's how you can bypass any endpoint which you don't want to apply the Spring Security. We are good at this moment. Now let's go to our handler class and start writing logic here to generate the token. So there is a class which you can use to build a complete URI as a token, or token along with a complete URL. For that you can define the class name URI builder components builder, okay, dot from http URL. Now you can ask him, hey, take the URL utils, then build the URL from the request. Now this is your builder method. What next? Whatever the things you want to append as part of your URI which you want to send to the end user, you can do that. I want to replace the path as a request dot get context path, which is nothing your localhost 9191 or any domain what you have, that path. Okay, then I just want to define a path which will be append to my token. I'll just define that as a login/ott. You can give any path. Okay, next you can define the token value. So I'll just define this will be my token. What is the value of this token? I want it to be dynamic, right? I don't know what is the value. Get it from the one time token, which is nothing. You will get some random string dot get token value. All good. Just define a variable. Fine. Now you can from the builder convert this token to string. You can name it string magic link, or you can name it as a application token or one time token, anything you can define, but in real time it is called magic link. People do call it to them called it as a magic link. Okay, so you can print that as well. Since this is just a demo, I'm just printing the one time token or magic link in the console, but in real time you need to send over the email or SMS. Okay, don't worry, we'll implement the email notification in a moment, but before that first let's test these particular things. If it is working, then we'll implement the email integration with this particular application. Okay, but before that, if you observe this /login and /ott, we are appending as part of our token or magic link. It means once user will click on that particular link, he should able to access the page rather than again ask him for authentication. So we also need to bypass this particular pattern. So for that you can do here, hey, authentication request, if you found any request match with login, what is the URL, just we copy it, login/ott, right? Permit all good. So first let's run it, then we'll validate. If it is working as expected, then the next step will implement the email notification to the user. So let's run the application. So it started. Go to the browser and just define 9191. We are good. Can you see here the request one time token, this particular form is coming now. Now let me inspect it. So if you give the username and password, it will work. But imagine I forgot it. But I know my username, which is nothing the Java techie, and that is what I have configured here. If you observe here, in the security config, the username I have hard coded as a Java techie. Okay, so usually this user details you need to fetch it from the DV, and I have done so many example by fetching it from the DV. You can refer to any existing Spring security video. So for demo, to make it simple, I have just hard coded the username. Now I will give the Java techie as a username. If I will give some wrong username, it will not work. Okay, if you will give the correct username, click on send token. We redirect to the static HTML page what we have defined. Meanwhile, if you will check in your console, one time token, okay, we are unable to, we didn't convert it properly as a to string, right? Let me do that. This should be to URI string. I just define it to string. So that is the reason the object and to string was showing in the console. Let's restart the app. Go to the browser. Let me close everything. 9191. Inspect it. Just give the username Java techie. Click on send token. We redirect to this page, right? /ott/sent, because that is what we have defined in our what is that, in handler class, to redirect the request to this particular page, and we have defined the same HTML page here. This is the static information you are seeing now. Now if you'll see in your console, can you see here http localhost 9191, this is what your request dot get context path. Okay, then /login and /ott we append as part of the handler. Let me show you each and every part how we are building the URI. Can you see here? Request dot get context path is nothing till 9191. Okay, then /login/ott. Then the parameter is nothing token, and this is the token value dynamically generated. Now just click on this, it will be auto populate with the token value. Now click on, okay, let me inspect it. Now click on sign in. You are able to access. So we are good here, right? Our OTT feature is working as expected. And if you observe, it's very simple, guys, right? What we did, let me open a new tab. We just try to open the page. If user forgot the password, he will provide the username. Currently it is Java techie, but it should be the email ID or mobile number. That is how you need to deal with your credential. Now user will click on send token. The token will send to the console or email or mobile, any device. Just click on that link and then click on sign in. User is able to access. He no need to go with OTP generation or reset password, or he no need to go with multiple approach to reset his password, right? Just a single click will redirect him to the page where you want to access. That is the simple or fastest way, isn't it? Now we are good at this moment. Now let's try to implement the email integration. Rather than print the magic link in the console, let's forward that link to the user email ID. So for that, what I can do, I will create a YML file. Then in this YML file, I will define all the required attribute for Spring email. If you observe, this is the host, this is the port, and this is what the username is, nothing my email ID. From this email ID, my all the notification will forward to the user, and password I will add it later. Then properties mail SMTP authentication true and enable true. That's it. That's the simple configuration you need to add. Now go to your handler class. I need to inject the Java mail sender here. So you can define private Java mail sender. Now also define what is your sender email id that you can fetch from your application.yml file, string sender email, or let it be sender at the red value. Then what is the key? Spring.mail.username. Then just let me add two method. I mean, it's just a simple method for sending notification. Let me add all the import statement. So if you observe here, I have created a map of get email. So the username JavaTechie, that is what I hard coded. For this user ID, this is the email ID. Again, this needs to be fetched from the DB. Since this is just a demo, I created a static map mapping with the username and corresponding email ID. Okay, this is the email ID where I want to send the notification about my magic link. And this is nothing, the simple send OTT notification, simple mail message. Then from what email ID you want to send, that is nothing, my sender. Then to whom you want to send, this will get from the map by giving the username, which is nothing, the JavaTechie. Okay, usually this needs to be dynamic. Currently I just hard coded in a map since this is just a demo, but make sure to fetch the email ID from the database. Then what is the subject you want to pass? Let's say I'll give one time token. Now this is some static message. Use the following link to sign into the application and the link. That's it. Okay, so just call this send OTT notification one time token and give the magic link. Now before I start, let me add the password here, then I'll start the application. So it started. Now let me open the email ID. Let me open the Gmail so that we can validate whether you are getting the email or not. So the mail will come to this particular email ID, right? Let me open this email. So we are good. Now let's hit the request. So I'll give the username JavaTechie. So for JavaTechie, the email ID is javatechie4you@gmail.com. Okay. So the token will forward to that particular email ID. Now click on send token. We got the static message. Now if you go to the email ID, can you see here? One time token magic link. Now this is the link. HTTP localhost 9191, which is nothing, the context /login /OTT. This is the path we have appended. Then query parameter token and the token value. Now if you click on this link, you can see here, right? Now if you click on sign in, it should redirect to the page. But do you know how this token is being validated by Spring Security? Whether this is correct or not, how it can be validated by Spring Security? Don't worry, if you don't know, we'll debug in a moment so that I can give you the complete picture how this internally works. Okay, now click on sign in. We are good. We can see the response. Now let me close this. What I'll do, I'll just open another tab. I'll type localhost 9191. But before that, to show you how the token is being validated by Spring Security or how it internally works, what I can do, there is a class called one time token provider or something like that. Authentication. Yeah, can you observe here? One time token authentication provider. So if you know the Spring Security internal flow, the request will come to the filter, then filter will delegate that request to the manager, then manager will look into the support method of the provider. There are different type of provider. For this one time token authentication, there is a provider called one time token authentication provider. The request will delegate to the provider by authentication manager. So if you don't know how Spring Security internally works, I already uploaded a dedicated video about it. I'll also share a link in video description. you can refer it. Okay, so for now let's go with the one time authentication provider. Now let me add a breakpoint here so that you can understand. Okay, this is the place where we are authenticating that particular token, the token which we passed. Okay, now let me restart in the debug mode. So it started. Now what I'll do, I'll give the username, click on send token. Why this is not working? Okay, the request is going on because it will send the email, right? Now if you'll go to the browser or your email ID, you must see the new email. Yeah, this one. This is the latest one, right? Just click on this. Now once you will pass this token and click on sign in, the request will delegate to one time token authentication provider. Let's see, can you see here? The request came to authentication provider authenticate method, and this is being delegated by the authentication manager. Now here at first step, what this authentication object contains, it contains your token value, that's it, nothing else. Okay, now we are typecast this one time token authentication. Let's check the value. Nothing is there, still it is not authenticated because next step we are authenticating it. But before authenticating it, we are giving the token to one time token service and asking him to validate against my username. So let's run it and we'll see. See here, from the token it extract the username and it will expire at this time limit. Okay, within this time limit he can use this token which is assigned for this particular username. With this 3 value, Spring Security validate. Okay, when user give me the username JavaTechie, I generate this token for him. So I will keep it in a memory so that based on the next authentication I can revalidate it. Okay, so that is how from the username this is the token, from the token this is the username. This is what extracted by the one time token service. Now since all are good, it will come to the else block. Then user detail service dot load user by username. What is the user? It is nothing, JavaTechie, right? If you will evaluate this, JavaTechie, no password, I mean password with the plain text. Okay, all good. Now one time token authentication token authenticate the user get authorities. What is the user? What value it contains? Is nothing, this user details. Okay, you know this flow already, I don't want to repeat it again, but this is the flow. This is the username, validate this user against the token value. If all good, set details and mark it as a authenticated. If you see here, we got the result. This is what the new authentication provider added in Spring Security latest version to authenticate one time token. Okay, so it will extract the username from the token, then it will validate that, and from the user details it will get the user object and it will give the authentication token to authenticate that particular request. All good, right? So this is how you can implement a one time token feature in your real time project. If you will check the official page of Spring Security OTT, you can find each and every step in details. Okay, also they have Spring Security people already explained why not OTP, why OTT. You just go through these documents, I will share this link so that you can get more picture about this OTT and its customization and implementation. Okay, so try this and do let me know in a comment section if you have any doubts. That's all about this particular video, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Meet you soon with a new concept.